survivors of the several-hour trade war with Mexico. Man, I was really worried for a few minutes there I wouldn't be able to get my Corona beer and avocados. It is another busy broadcast week here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Right now, President Trump is welcoming the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers to the White House. If he says anything interesting, we will dip in or possibly bring you highlights. Later on in the show, it is another jam-packed one. As always, we strive for broadcast excellence each and every minute of each and every day. Oftentimes, we hit broadcast competence. And if you would like to join us today, our phone lines are always open. 414-799-1130 is the AdventNews.com talk and text line. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. You can always email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where you can watch the show streaming live via the DanoCam. Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. We are also streaming there as well as on our YouTube channel. Coming up today, a couple of exclusive stories. One from the proposed Kenosha casino going all the way back more than a decade. Could it be that Governor Walker was totally justified in killing that project because not only would it not be a good deal for taxpayers, it turns out the Seminole tribe, which runs Hard Rock Gaming, has way more money to spend than it's letting on. I have obtained an email that shows just how much they paid for a finder's fee for the consulting group that picked Kenosha as a possible spot for expansion of its casino business. You will be absolutely floored. And with that proposal again before the governor, this time Governor Evers, it is an exclusive story that could potentially have an impact on whether or not the governor signs off and the federal government's Department of the Interior under new Secretary Doug Burgum signs off on this new casino project as it's currently been accepted by local Menominee tribe leaders as well as Kenosha County and City of Kenosha leaders. I couldn't believe the amount of money that was involved here, and now it seems the percentage revenue sharing agreement makes no sense at all. So listen for that exclusive story coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We are celebrating here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Once again, it is Black Lives Matter in Schools Week at Milwaukee Public Schools. And what better way to celebrate the fact that on national standardized testing, Black Milwaukee students are about 5% proficient in both reading and math, then by taking valuable class time away from teaching reading and math to teaching about trans identity. Wait, Dan, I thought you said it was Black Lives Matter at Schools Week. Why are they devoting an entire day to transgender teaching? Because it's the left, because it's Milwaukee Public Schools, and because, frankly, they can. Because I'm the only person, it seems, in this state who reports on what it is they're actually doing in classrooms. So jam-packed show today. We begin it with a chance for you to win $1,000 in our cold hard cash contest. The word this hour is credit. C-R-E-D-I-T, credit. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword credit. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000. Be honest. How many of you had any idea what the USAID was before this weekend? Commonly known as USAID. Any idea? Well, neither did the left-wingers who are going to protest today the fact that Elon Musk of Doge is targeting it for closure. I have obtained audio of what might be the single lamest left-wing protest I have ever heard. And ladies and gentlemen, I was at the Milwaukee Republican National Convention where there was one crazy old bag on a blowhorn, a bullhorn, shouting into the void. Even that was a better protest than this one against Trump and Musk shutting down USA.
When our Constitution is under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back!
So I want to be really clear that there may be only a few people here today, but this will grow and we will not stop.
I've never heard that before. The woman on the bullhorn admitting, yeah, okay, there may not be a whole lot of people here, but there will be more of us. This was sort of like that old episode of Arrested Development where it was the guy who never wants to be naked. He's a never nude. He said, there are dozens of us, dozens. I've never seen a left-wing protest that sparsely attended, especially since you apparently got every illegal currently in the United States over the weekend to stop traffic on various highways to protest against the fact that they need to go back to the countries whose flags they are flying during the protest. If you're flying the flag of Honduras to protest against having to go back to Honduras, I'm probably not going to take you particularly seriously. But U.S. aid is so vital to global interests, to American interests, that they even trotted out Ilhan Omar during today's demonstration on the steps of the United States Capitol to decry the move to shut it down.
It is really, really a sad day in America. We are witnessing a constitutional crisis. We talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one, and here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like.
Yes, if you contract government in any way, if you decide as the head of the executive branch that there is an agency within that executive branch that is frittering away taxpayer money and you decide to shut that agency down, you, my friend, just might be a dictator, according to noted constitutional scholar Ilhan Omar. Jamie Raskin, though, fellow Democratic rep, was even less honest than Omar with all of her hysteria, claiming that somehow Elon Musk is going against the wishes of Congress, and that Trump actually is sparking a constitutional crisis by allowing Elon and Doge to shut down this rogue agency.
Elon Musk, you didn't create U.S. aid. The United States Congress did for the American people.
Right.
And just like Elon Musk did not create U.S. aid, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him.
There are dozens of us, dozens, and we're going to stop you, Elon. Maybe, Jamie, when there's a grand total of like 14 people in your crowd, don't challenge the guy who is currently building an army of killer robots that right now are just serving people drinks at cocktail parties. But you just wait. Would it shock you to learn that Jamie Raskin and the rest of the Democrats are openly lying to you about U.S. aid is? It is the United States Agency for International Development, and it's an independent agency that's responsible for distributing foreign aid. It has an annual budget of about $50 billion. It accounts with that money for more than half of all American foreign assistance. It is the single largest distributor of foreign assistance in the entire world. And it was not created by Congress. In 1961, Congress passed the Foreign Assistance Act, and it basically streamlined the process by which the United States, which suddenly had a good amount of money. Remember, this was the first time in that post-war period where the United States asserted itself as a global military and economic leader and finally had the largesse to distribute large amounts of money. So Congress said, we need to better our process of administering aid. What the Foreign Assistance Act did was say to the president, who at the time was John F. Kennedy, you need to establish via executive order some agency to administer this aid. All of our foreign aid is going to flow through this agency. Kennedy created USAID. This means that USAID can absolutely be abolished by executive order if President Trump wants to, so long as there is another agency to keep the United States government in compliance with the Foreign Assistance Act set up to administer aid. Over the weekend, Musk started digging into, through his Doge program, all of the money that USAID was wasting. He started posting about this on X. He hosted an X Spaces, which is sort of like a live audio stream show to talk about this. In response, USAID employees were told this morning, stay out of headquarters. Do not come into work. The Associated Press reported that instead of going to the office, they were all instructed to work from home. 600 staffers were all locked out of their computers last night. Interestingly enough, the agency's website also went dark. Musk had nothing to do with this. This was the remaining heads of USAID after two top officials were summarily dismissed from their positions by President Trump last week in preparation for apparently what looks like a USAID shutdown. What this looks like to me is that the website was shut down and 600 employees don't have access to their accounts because now you have got scrutiny on what it is that USAID is spending money on. And if people were to peruse that website for a little bit, or agency employees had access to elements of the internal workings of USAID, we would find even more obnoxious, egregious spending. Now, what are some of the things that USAID is spending taxpayer money on? $20 million on a Sesame Street type show in Iraq. $56 million to boost tourism in Tunisia and Egypt. Egypt has the freaking pyramids. If their government and large segments of their people weren't so radical and crazy, the tourism would sell itself. $40 million to build schools in Jordan. $11 million to tell people to stop burning trash in Vietnam. $150,000 for kids to visit Washington, D.C. South Korean kids. How about this? $969,821 to a Stephen Leonelli of Washington, D.C. for supporting, quote, Development, Democracy, and Innovation Inclusive Development Hub programs protecting the human rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex individuals. Aha. Those aren't even the big money items. USAID spends $375 million on diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI grants. It spends $520 million on ESG Consultants. ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. This is a left-wing program that tries to get corporate America or global corporations to be more liberal in how they interact with the environmental concerns of left-wing activists and social concerns, i.e. implementing DEI programs, trying to get more environmentally friendly. Most troublingly, $1.2 billion went to, quote, undisclosed recipients. We have no idea where $1.2 billion went. But we know that the other $49 billion in American aid is not being spent on things that necessarily align with the interests of the United States. As Elon Musk works to shut down USAID, President Trump tasked Secretary of State Marco Rubio with temporarily heading the agency. And today, while Rubio was touring a factory, so forgive the bad background noise, he said anything, any cent that is not spent in accordance with what we deem to be an appropriate expenditure of taxpayer money will not be spent.
It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so. So the functions of USAID, there are a lot of functions of USAID that are going to continue, that are going to be part of American foreign policy, but it has to be aligned with American foreign policy. I said very clearly during my confirmation hearing that every dollar we spend and every program we fund, that will be aligned with the national interest of the United States. And USAID has a history of sort of ignoring that and deciding that there's somehow a global charity separate from the national interest. These are taxpayer dollars.
Are you saying, Secretary Rubio, that you think taxpayer dollars should not be spent on things like this? Association Lambda, USAID gave a $1.9 million grant to, quote, strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming healthcare, advocate for improved quality and access to services, and provide economic empowerment opportunities. In Guatemala, how Democrats benefit from this obvious grift and why exactly they are so upset about it when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns.
Police Sergeant Christopher David Fitzgerald of the Temple University Police Department sustained fatal gunshot wounds while attempting to arrest a robbery suspect. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation provided a mortgage-free home to his wife and their 5 children in honor of their forever hero. Christopher was a great father, husband, brother, and son who is so very missed. Heroes like Christopher protect and serve our communities and our nation. Show your support. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Never drive drunk. If you do, don't believe police officers who tell you it's just a ticket and a 6-month suspension. Pay it and put this behind you. You'll likely have to install an ignition interlock device to blow into before starting your car. Protects the public and shames you with your friends and family. Your license will be revoked. You can go to jail for 1 year if caught driving revoked. Even if you swear you did never drive revoked, most people do. With a to and from work permit, 1 snowstorm, long meeting, or traffic jam, and you're driving revoked, an officer runs your plate while driving, and you're in even more serious trouble. You'll participate in alcohol and drug assessments, a driver's safety plan, and alcohol classes. You could even lose your job. Prosecutors will tenaciously prosecute you without empathy, regardless of your clean driving record. Your first DUI conviction never disappears from your record. Just a ticket and 6-month suspension, and a Scarlet A for life. Charged with an OWI, your best chance is to call my team of award-winning former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
Refi Trust is a financial strategy allowing you to refinance low-interest matured savings bonds, certificates of deposit, and whole life insurance cash value with zero taxes or fees. Let's face it, everyone in finance wants your money just like the taxman does. Refi Trust is one financial upgrade you can make for free. Zero cost, zero fees. Refi Trust blocks creditors, nursing homes, and Medicaid from attachment to your assets, allowing you to transfer and protect $15,000 immediately for future tax-exempt use and hundreds of thousands of dollars for future tax-exempt use after a few years. Refi Trust makes the process so simple, you won't believe you've left money vulnerable because you don't want to pay taxes. Refi Trust does all the work, making sure those assets are never taxed. Refinancing matured savings bonds, certificates of deposit, and whole life insurance takes just minutes. So what are you waiting for? Visit refitrust.com right now. Let's get started. Refi Trust. Your assets, your choice. refitrust.com. That's refitrust.com.
Your local Runnings wants to say thank you. Customer Appreciation Days are Wednesday through Friday, February 5th through the 7th. Shop great deals in all departments, including sporting goods, pet, farm, and home, housewares, hardware, tools, and much more. Seniors, you get 10% off on Wednesday. Military, police, fire department, and EMT workers on Thursday. Healthcare workers on Friday. So get the family into your local Runnings this week and let them say thank you during Customer Appreciation Days. Runnings, now with 82 locations. Find the store in your community at runnings.com.
Josh from Infinity here. The exterior remodeling industry is notorious for wild price disparities and hidden costs. Infinity has revolutionized the exterior remodeling experience. Our custom-built app is your window into our world of clear, accurate pricing.
MJ here. No more guesswork. No more unpleasant surprises. Every detail, all materials are clear for you to see. Absolute pricing transparency makes Infinity the most trusted roofing and exterior remodeling company in the Midwest.
We built Infinity on a foundation of integrity. More than installing roofs, siding, and windows, Infinity installs peace of mind, building lifelong relationships with our customers.
Infinity's proprietary app is an extension of our commitment, providing exact line item pricing, something unheard of in roofing and exterior remodeling.
Infinity's unmatched buying power saves you money. We pay less, you pay less. Infinity provides multiple budget options real time. Everything is at your fingertips, including financing options before we leave your home.
Warranted, guaranteed quality, installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN. This is where sycophants and shills are shunned and commitment to the unvarnished truth is sustained. Just one reason that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
People here today, but this will grow and we will not stop.
Not a great turnout for the protest in Washington, D.C. today against the closure, or at least proposed closure, of U.S. aid, which, by the way, has spent $45 million last year on DEI scholarships. In Burma, $520 million for consultant-driven ESG investments. In Africa, and again, and I still can't believe this, $1.2 billion to undisclosed recipients. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It is a tour de force of truth, and the truth is that U.S. aid is a rotten bureaucracy that needs to be shut down. Speaking of those sorts of rotten bureaucracies, the city of Milwaukee has one as well. It is tasked with providing housing for the most vulnerable residents, but instead was spending money on itself. The scandal of the Milwaukee Housing Authority coming up next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Right now, though, Democrats are far more upset about the possible closure of USAID than the general populace, as evidenced by the fact that even the left-wing crazies in Washington, D.C., a city that's like 95% Democrat, could only get a tiny handful of people out to protest against the closure of it this morning. Democrats are so upset because they understand how they benefit from this money. Obviously, taxpayer money can't go directly into the coffers of the Democratic Party. But this is the scam that Democrats always pull. They fund organizations that will in turn use the money that they're getting in the form of government grants, since most of those grants are so open-ended that the money can be used for whatever. Just look at the Milwaukee Housing Authority. They're supposed to spend the money that they were getting from the Federal Housing and Urban Development Secretary on low-income housing for disabled people. Instead, they spent it on salaries for their own executives. So this money gets spent on things that often are far afield, even if the stated purpose of the grant is to fund bisexual, transgender, black dance troupes. They'll find a way to get at least a portion of that money into the coffers of Act Blue. Act Blue is the fundraising and donation platform that distributes money to Democrats and Democrat-aligned groups and the Democratic Party of, say, Wisconsin, National Democratic Party, any other state party. It itself has been exposed as a massive fundraising scheme, but the beauty of this is that money can be funneled into it that is then essentially laundered. So money goes out the door from organizations like USAID. And remember, this is your money. This is my money. As Secretary Rubio said, this organization, USAID, likes to think of itself as an international charity that's spending donations. It's not. It's spending our taxpayer money. And it's spending it on things that it knows will be in line with a global left-wing agenda. You're spending $50 million on DEI initiatives in Burma/Myanmar. That's a drop in the bucket to a $50 billion agency, but that's a lot of money. What do you think the Burmese are going to do with it? They're not necessarily going to donate some of it right back through Act Blue, but they're going to promote left-wing socialist-style programs and left-wing socialist-style government in that country. Some of the money, especially that which is given to various government entities and then given back to, say, and the place that you find the absolute most amount of fraud are in places like housing authorities, like poverty programs, these sorts of things, because there is so much money lavished upon them and there is so little oversight. A lot of that money will go right back to Democrat politicians because it's given out to groups, 501c3s, that are doing political organizing and doing the work of getting Democrats elected. So it's no real surprise that Democrats like Ilhan Omar and Jamie Raskin and everybody else who is speaking today in this little protest that they organized are so upset because their gravy train is getting derailed. The worst organization in Milwaukee, and that's saying something. The scandal that is the Housing Authority. Next.
I'm Mark Belling. My podcast will give me the freedom to talk about anything and everything. Our world needs truth-telling more than ever. The Mark Belling Podcast begins May 1st. My best is yet to come.
The Mark Belling Podcast is presented by Uline Shipping and Industrial Supplies. Ship same day for fast delivery. Visit uline.com. The Mark Belling Podcast is also supported by Annex Wealth Management. The Mark Belling Podcast starts May 1st at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Grandma?
In kitchen.
Did you put these flyers in Lithuanian all over the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Okay, I know Cavelius is fool. What's the rest say?
Use translation app.
Oh boy. Okay, don't be a fool. Take excellent financial lesson with Grandma.
One lesson, $25.
You need money for something you need money for? Get a First American Bank home equity line of credit.
Is smart.
Don't get a credit card loan.
Is stupid.
Because First American Bank
has best loan deals in town. Okay, now read Big Finish.
If you get a credit card loan and not a First American Bank home equity line of credit, you could pay 2.5 times more in interest. Isn't this a bad word?
Very.
Grandma, everything you've said about First American Bank is correct, but charging people $25, I don't know, come on.
You are right. Should be $100. Help me fix flyers.
First American Bank, the bank that does more for your money. Visit firstambank.com or call us at 262-577-2400. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Gersh Group is bookkeepers, consultants, and mentors of profitability for owner-operated businesses. Running your business requires choosing what role you'll fill every day. Often financial review, a seemingly less pressing need, drops down the priority list. The difference between succeeding in business and creating wealth is often knowing profitability real time. Eliminating losses or maximizing profit doesn't happen after the fact. When the Gersh Group closes your books monthly, provides a dashboard demonstrating accurate financials, you are free to run your business by the metric you're in business for, the money. If you can borrow $1 and turn it into 10, you would, right? Gersh tracks working capital and debt ratios, making business financing needs in relation to increasing profit predictable. Your CPA not having to reinvent your year at tax time saves you money. When Gersh Group introduces you to your numbers, then reintroduces them monthly, now your business can graduate from successful to generating wealth. We'll show you how. Fostering success by the numbers. Gersh Group. GershGroup.com.
I'm Kelly Lammert with Clean Living Environments. Clean Living Environments' superior agitation, high-powered suction gets more filth out of your furnace ducts. Crud doesn't unstick from surfaces. It became glued in place over years of humid, then dry, then humid airflow. Vacuum cleaners agitate. Suction alone doesn't get carpet clean. Next, Clean Living Environments gets more wasted air out of ducts with AeroSeal duct sealing. Loosely fit together tin pipes snakes from the furnace through walls to vents. Loosely boxed off stud spaces and right-angled turns return unheated or cooled air to furnaces. Dank basement air is sucked into gaps and distributed throughout the house, while tonnage of heated or cooled air escapes before being distributed throughout the home, resulting in more dust, musty smells, not enough heated or cooled air to parts of the house, and larger energy bills. Clean Living Environments duct sealing reduces air duct leakage 70 to 99%, reducing gas consumption while increasing whole home comfort and cleanliness. Get more out of your ducts. CleanLivingEnvironments.com. That's CleanLivingEnvironments.com.
Refi Trust allows securing money for future needs, both yours and your family's. You pay monthly into a whole life insurance policy because you can? Having achieved financial security and successfully raised your children, is the ever-increasing premium worth the cash value going forward? At Refi Trust, we don't think so. Regardless of your whole life insurance death benefit, if you need extended care or end-of-life care, the cash value of your policy is subject to attachment by creditors, nursing homes, and Medicaid. Crazy, hey? Paying for decades and even money to cover funeral expenses for your family is gone. Cashing whole life in is subject to taxes and fees, so you keep paying every month, right? With Refi Trust, refinance matured savings bonds, certificates of deposit, and whole life with zero taxes or fees, protecting assets from creditors, nursing homes, and Medicaid, guaranteeing your asset will be used as you see fit or handed down to your heirs tax-free. Refi Trust, your assets, your choice. RefiTrust.com. That's RefiTrust.com.
Hi, it's Jason from Capital Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and I've never told you why Capital does same-day repair 7 days a week. Years ago, in the dead of winter, the heat failed in an apartment building I was responsible for, so I called a big local heating company who promised to help, but never showed up. After a million calls, I mustered the know-how and fixed it myself. That's when I decided Milwaukee deserves a company that cares, and that's why we offer same-day repair 7 days a week. Visit callcapitalcares.com because Capital cares.
Hey, you frustrated because you're trying to sell your home, but all you're getting are excuses? Hey, Sean Hannity here to tell you about a great American right in your backyard. I'm talking about Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Just go to wihomeeval.com.
I'm Greg Rosenthal, host of NFL Daily. Join me live from Radio Row in New Orleans. I'll be interviewing the NFL's biggest names all week long. NFL Daily will have you ready for this year's big moment. Will it be Mahomes completing the three-peat or Jalen Hurts avenging their Super Bowl 57 loss? We'll be there on the field after the game. Full recap, interviews with this year's Super Bowl champions. Don't miss it. Listen to NFL Daily on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow NFL Daily and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
Offering one of the strongest lineups of talk show hosts in the history of local radio. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WIS.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. It is now day 3 of Black History Month. How is Milwaukee Public Schools celebrating? Why, with Black Lives Matter in Schools Week, of course. We will get to that later on in the Dan O'Donnell Show. Down in South Fulton, Georgia, there's an investigation into the misappropriation of funds by the mayor, Khalid Kamau. He apparently, much like his counterpart in Los Angeles, Karen Bass, took a random trip to Africa. Why? Nobody's quite sure, but they do know that he used taxpayer funds to do it. He could not believe the gall of his common counsel daring to investigate the misappropriation of funds during Black History Month.
I am so distressed and disappointed that the blackest city in the United States of America is heading into Black History Month with its all-black council tearing each other down.
Meanwhile, a council member who is indeed Black had quite possibly the greatest possible comeback to that nonsense.
We're not tearing you down. You took your black behind over to Africa for 20 days and didn't tell anybody.
That is fantastic. We'll get an update as to how that investigation goes. Hopefully, they reach the inevitable conclusion and Mayor Kamau is not indicted on February 28th. It's okay in March, but during Black History Month, that would be unacceptable. Kudos to today's TMJ4 reporter, Jenna Ray, who broke what is probably the biggest Milwaukee story of the year. It certainly is the biggest story of the year thus far, only encompassing a month. This is a major scandal that likely is going to necessitate an FBI investigation. Ray reported exclusively late last week that the Housing Authority of the City of Milwaukee is very close to filing bankruptcy, possibly as soon as within 45 days, because it was misusing Section 8 housing funds. The second largest landlord in the city of Milwaukee is the City of Milwaukee. That would be the Housing Authority. Now, a month ago, the former director of the Housing Authority, Willie Hines, resigned to take a position in the private sector. There's not really a whole lot made about, okay, Willie's moving on. Well, now we start to see why. Ray was able to obtain an email via multiple sources that states unreconciled cash balances in audits from the Housing Authority show that since 2019, $2.8 million in funds were removed from the Section 8 program to cover agency overhead salaries and benefits in order to make payroll. What exactly is Section 8 housing supposed to fund? Very low-income families, the elderly, and the disabled. It's supposed to provide a boost to them in various communities to help them afford rent, to help them be able to make a payment on a home. And this is not money that's coming from city tax coffers. It's coming from the federal government, which means, yes, just like with USAID, it's coming from all of us. So I'll bet you didn't know, even if you're listening to me in Madison, even if you're listening to me in one of the WOW counties and you think this couldn't possibly affect you, well, who cares? It's the city of Milwaukee being the city of Milwaukee. Oh, no, my friend. Your tax dollars are funding it. None of this, of course, was reported to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. That's the agency that distributes these grants. It oversees the housing authority. And this amounts to fraud. Money that was earmarked for a specific purpose from the federal government was not used for that purpose, but was rather used to pay people who work for the housing authority. And none of this was ever actually reported. It sure seems as though Willie Hines resigned from the housing authority before the feds arrived. This is sort of a common thing. Do you know when this happens all the time? College football. You'll see a high-profile coach. The most recent example was Jim Harbaugh. He leads Michigan to a national title. He immediately gets out of there because Michigan was facing NCAA sanctions. Pete Carroll, when he was at USC, is now the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. When he took off for the NFL, sure, obviously Jim Harbaugh is a very sought-after coach. So, too, was Pete Carroll back in the day when he left USC for the Seahawks. But he did so just as NCAA investigators were closing in. Just call him Coach Willie, because he slithered away right before all of this came to light. I guess you could call him Slick Willie. During the audits of the Housing Authority, HUD reportedly noted that there were a number of financial inconsistencies, but they couldn't pinpoint the source. This led to the agency mandating Housing Authority outsource its Section 8 housing program because it couldn't figure out where this money was going, why this money wasn't being used to fund its Section 8 program. Ray further reports the agency currently does not have enough funds to cover payroll processes for the week of January 27th. i.e. last week, and states at this pace, the agency will be bankrupt in 45 days. According to the Housing Authority's chief financial officer, quote, the impending cost-cutting measures imposed are essential to the short-term success. If not implemented in 2 weeks, I cannot promise how payroll will be met. Ray notes that the email ends with, help! All caps, 3 exclamation points. I'll provide some help. Everyone at this agency needs to be fired. The federal government needs to immediately directly disperse Section 8 and other federal grants that deal with housing. The FBI needs to immediately investigate Willie Hines and anyone else who is a top official at the Housing Authority dating well back before 2019. Because I'm willing to wager that if it was this relatively small amount of money, $2.8 million, that just randomly went missing, if you go back far enough, you will find more money that was being misappropriated and misused. This was not an accounting error. This was not sloppy bookkeeping. This was not standard issue Democrat inner city incompetence. This was a concerted effort to defraud the American taxpayer by taking money that was specifically earmarked to help the most vulnerable people in the community of Milwaukee, in the city of Milwaukee, be able to live somewhere and avoid homelessness, going instead to Willie Hines and his buddies who are all working for this agency. Now, how much do you want to wager that there are way more people working at the Milwaukee Housing Authority than need to be working at the Milwaukee Housing Authority? How much you want to wager that a whole lot of those salaries, all of the financial problems from the Housing Authority, could probably be solved by maybe trimming the staff of the Housing Authority, or, as I would suggest, trimming this altogether. One thing is clear, this needs to be investigated. I do not trust the Milwaukee Police Department. The rank and file of the police department do an excellent job. I do not trust the politically connected top brass of MPD, nor our sheriff, who is probably most often found on the side of a milk carton. I have not seen Danita Ball in probably the last 7 months. I have no idea what she's doing. We know what Jeff Norman is doing. He's interviewing for chief jobs outside of the state. I don't trust the State Department of Justice to investigate. Again, same thing. DOJ, State Division of Criminal Investigation. They have wonderful people, incredible law enforcement agents working for it. I don't trust Attorney General Josh Kaul. There needs to be a federal investigation. The FBI needs to get involved. The U.S. Attorney's Office needs to get involved. President Trump needs to appoint a U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Wisconsin, and this is priority one, because money was stolen from the needy to go to the housing authority's staff.
Rapid traffic on News Talk 1130 WISN.
From the Lynch family of dealerships Total Traffic Center.
Southbound Rock Freeway slowing from Moreland to past Calhoun with a stall on the right shoulder. Give yourself 14 minutes down to Highway 164. 25 over on 43 southbound Brown Deer to the Marquette, jammed Hampton all the way in. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Next Tuesday, you'll go to your business. You'll stand there in your office and make decisions. I think when you make decisions, it might be well for you to ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for your business to buy things you need to increase profitability than it was 4 years ago? Does your business have more or less unemployment? Is your business as respected as it was? Do you feel your business is on as secure financial grounds as it was 4 years ago? And if you answer all those questions, yes, why then, I think your choice is very obvious as to who handles your brand and marketing. If you don't think the marketing course is what you would like to see your business follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
And it is improving the economy one business at a time. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com. I'mADishWeb.com.
Menards has everything you need for your next big project. Update the lighting in your garage or workspace with our great selection of utility lighting options. The high bay light features a 5,000 Kelvin color temperature, wet rated, and a long life over 100,000 hours, so you'll have light for whenever you need. Get the 11 inches high bay light for $89.99. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
Warshawski trial attorney Frank Crivello here.
Folks, I'm Victor Harding. Frank is selected Best Lawyers 2024 Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year.
More impressive is Victor Harding named Product Liability Attorney of the Year again for 2024.
It may sound boastful to mention these prestigious awards.
It's not boastful considering if you or someone you love is injured, you need to know 2 attorneys from the same personal injury firm being chosen by other lawyers and judges for these caliber of awards is very rare.
Heaven forbid you ever need an injury claim made on your behalf. If you do, the quality of your attorney and law firm will have a greater impact on the outcome than even the facts of your case.
Former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, and even insurance adjusters,
often our adversaries,
refer their family and friends to Warshawski because they know Warshawski will achieve maximum compensation.
Injured? It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
That's Warshawski.com.
An auction to sell your house? And it includes a 2.99% full-service MLS listing? Come on. Put simply, the absolute best way to sell your home is a Redefined Realty MLS listing enhanced by the EasyHomeBidder.com auction bidding platform. You get max profits and minimal contingencies. Buyers and sellers both love winning at auction. Traditional real estate agents put houses on MLS, then talk sellers into accepting offers. It's always been done that way. While buyers can still make a traditional offer, auctions powered by EasyHomeBidder.com
MLS.com allow every interested party to compete for your home through MLS and at auction on your terms. Sellers never lose a penny again. Dorothy's Ruby slippers would not have sold for $28 million without an auction. Similarly, the maximum price of your home will only be achieved at auction. Traditional real estate agents sell ordinary MLS services. Reed defines mentors of winning, enhance the home selling process combining auction and MLS. RedefinedRealty.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Real estate future is now. Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Get ready for our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards.
March 10th, we'll honor the very best in podcasting from the past year and celebrate the most innovative talent and creators in the industry. And you'll help decide who wins Podcast of the Year. Vote now at iHeartPodcastAwards.com.
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. Explore the best selection of audiobooks plus podcasts and originals, all in one easy app. Audible, there's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Critical events drive critical times, and these are the times to learn critical lessons. Recent events should teach us that the struggle for liberty is ongoing, and forces that are misguided or sinister stand at the ready to take our liberties away. At News Talk 1130 WISN, we are dedicated to identifying the risks to our freedoms as they arise, and to alert you to those risks, valuing our liberties and our rights. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, and it's time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, a Democrat who is apparently hiding an illegal immigrant in his attic and wants the entire world to know about it. And on Saturday at an event, dared ICE to come and get her.
Tammy and I were talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
Whoa. Did he just pull a Molon Labe with his Nicaraguan maid? I mean, come on. It's either a maid or a babysitter, right? Oh, yeah, someone in my sphere who is... Phil, it's okay. You want the near slave labor. New Jersey's Governor Phil Murphy, your unhinged liberal of the day. Time now to know the difference between financial advisors as we bring in Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex Wealth Management. And speaking of illegal immigration, Dave, we had quite possibly the shortest lived trade war in history. This made Israel's 6-day war look like Vietnam, for goodness sakes, how quickly this thing was over.
Well, everybody was freaking out. I just wanted Rory to win the Pebble. I was trying to watch, but no, our analysts were giving us an update on everything that was going to happen with the borders. And here we are, just 24 hours later. And now, as you know, breaking news, Trudeau also has a 30-day window here.
Dude, I was going to break that at the top of the hour. I was going to get it. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. I knew you were going to do that. Yes, the trade war with our, I guess I was going to call them NAFTA partners, but it's the USMCA partners is at least, we have a ceasefire. I guess we can call it a ceasefire, right?
30-day.
Yeah.
Yep. And so Trump is taking all of these economic tools, right? Tariffs to get non-economic goals, which is to shut down the borders and stop immigration and stop fentanyl coming in from our country to our country. And so it worked. And so here's the art of the deal. 30 days in, we'll find out if everyone sticks to it in 30 days from now, if we have a deal. But Wow, what a good 24 hours for Trump.
Certainly was. And is this just what he does on Sunday? Speaking of, you were watching golf. He was playing golf a week ago. He did the exact same thing to Colombia, and everybody's freaking out.
Between the fifth and the sixth holes, he fixed it. Yeah,
exactly. It's like everybody's freaking out. Oh my goodness, we're not going to be able to get Corona beer in time for the Super Bowl. And Colombia caved within an hour. It took Mexico, 12 hours, Canada closer to about 24. Just trust the man. He knows how to negotiate, and Dave and I know how to break it all down in our weekly podcast, The Difference. You can get it on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. He is Dave Spano. I'm Dan O'Donnell, and we will be right back.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon. I'm Sean Maloney. Puxatawny Phil may have predicted 6 weeks of winter, but Wisconsin's Jimmy the Groundhog says different. Yesterday at 7:11 a.m., it was declared that Jimmy is calling for an early spring. A burn ban is in place for some Jefferson County residents following a brush fire over the weekend. Fort Atkinson Fire Chief Bruce Peterson issued the immediate order for the entire fire district Saturday. A 74-year-old man is dead after a stabbing on Milwaukee's south side. Investigators say the dead man is connected to a 37-year-old man who was arrested. Business news brought to you by the Good Feet store. The Dow was down 122 3/4 points. The S&P 500 down nearly 46 points, and the Nasdaq was down 235.5. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard and college hoops action over the weekend. Wisconsin defeated Northwestern. UConn beat Marquette, and UW Milwaukee fell short to Fort Wayne. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Sean Maloney on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Drizzle and fog linger today with temperatures hovering in the low to mid 30s, clearing clouds tonight and much colder with lows Tuesday morning in the teens, then only mid 20s in the afternoon. Sleet and freezing rain, a big possibility Wednesday. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the President's Day sale at Grand Appliance for unbeatable appliance deals, like a mega capacity French door refrigerator from Samsung for just $13.99. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local showroom. That's Grand Appliance, appliance expert since 1930.
Police Sergeant Christopher David Fitzgerald of the Temple University Police Department sustained fatal gunshot wounds while attempting to arrest a robbery suspect. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation provided a mortgage-free home to his wife and their 5 children in honor of their forever hero. Christopher was a great father, husband, brother, and son who is so very missed. Heroes like Christopher protect and serve our communities and our nation. Show your support. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Okay, well, wait, how about this one? Look, 3 bedrooms.
What's the catch?
Well, we'd have to replace the appliances.
All right.
And the style is straight out of the 80s.
Oof.
And the roof leaks.
How about a Ready Home from Belinsky Homes? They've got brand new homes in a wide variety of designs. We get all the benefits of new construction while skipping the building process. Look, just go to Belinsky.com to see all the Ready Homes available right now.
During your career, investments piled up. From 401ks to brokerage accounts, it turned into quite a collection. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe every portfolio tells a story. We've analyzed thousands. Some reflect diligence and fortitude. Others, a mishmash of overlapping investments. When Annex reviews a portfolio, we spot what works, what might not, and then provide unbiased suggestions. Every portfolio tells a story. Let's work on yours. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary. That's our story. Head to annexwealth.com.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut & Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut & Go, there is no reason risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood, or we can take it all with us when we leave. A Tons of Trees movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
Blue Mountain Express.
This is Rick Vanderboom with Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage, and we'll improve your move.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage, statewide.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve at Reset Restore MD IV Ketamine Therapy Centers. IV ketamine is superior to ketamine lozenges. If you suffer with depression, anxiety, or PTSD, listen to real R&R MD patient feedback.
My treatments helped greatly reduce and eliminate my chronic back pain.
I've tried many therapies for depression, and this has been the most impactful. The environment is relaxing, and the staff are incredibly kind.
Amazing, life-changing, wonderful. Dr. Jennifer changed my life for the better with ketamine infusions.
R&R MD helped me deal with anxiety and be more calm with hectic things going on. Years of talk therapy can't do what this did in a few sessions.
Intravenous ketamine infusions take about an hour at our Brookfield or Mequon R&R MD locations. Relief can continue for weeks, months, even a lifetime. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com. That's rnrmd.com.
Higher design, higher style, higher Wisconsin Kitchen Mart.
Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, and now Canada, all bowing to President Trump's demands. And all it took was the imposition of tariffs. Not even the imposition. With Colombia, just the threat. Within an hour a week ago, the president of Colombia sends his presidential jet to the United States to start flying Colombian migrants back. Mexico caved and is sending troops to the border. It took maybe 24 hours. 36 hours after President Trump imposed tariffs on Mexico and Canada yesterday, the Canadian government has now caved. We'll get to that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Right now, an exclusive. The Hard Rock Group, which operates Hard Rock casinos, the Hard Rock restaurant, the Hard Rock brand, is actually the Seminole tribe of Florida. Way back 12 years ago, when they were looking for a possible site for a new casino, they paid a consulting firm called the Osceola Group, led by Rick Osceola, $28 million just to settle on the Kenosha location for its new casino. I have obtained a letter written by HR Wisconsin LLC, which was the Seminole Tribe, or Hard Rock Incorporated's LLC, the limited liability corporation, set up in Wisconsin with the express purpose of opening up the Kenosha casino, something that was so controversial it was eventually nixed by Governor Walker almost exactly 10 years ago today. In late January 2015, Governor Walker said no, it would simply cost taxpayers far too much money under gaming compacts signed by Governor Jim Doyle a decade earlier to allow the Kenosha casino property to move forward. October 16th, 2014, from HR Wisconsin to the Osceola Group in Naples, Florida. Quote, HR Wisconsin agrees to pay OG, Osceola Group, a total finder's fee equal to $28 million as set forth below and based upon current estimated pet project costs. Why are we going back 11 years ago with this old memo? Because the Kenosha Casino project is back. And if the Hard Rock Group had that much money, $28 million, just to pay a consultant to find Kenosha, heck, I could find Kenosha on a map and tell you, you know what? It's located right between Chicago and Milwaukee, and the idiot Democrat governor signed such terrible gaming compacts that we have to give essentially no revenue to the state of Wisconsin. We can soak these idiots for all they're worth, and guess what? We can get all of the traffic from Chicago and all of the traffic from Milwaukee. All we have to worry about is Potawatomi Hotel and Casino up there. Well, unfortunately, under the terms of that compact signed by Doyle in 2005, any casino that would be opened up that could compete with the Forest County Potawatomi's Hotel and Casino in Milwaukee would result in state taxpayers being on the hook for $100 million payout to the Potawatomi. As a result, Governor Walker nixed the project. Nobody believed him at the time when he said it's not a good deal for taxpayers, because at the time, Walker was fresh off his second re-election bid in as many years. I say second because he first survived the recall in 2012, and then he stood for re-election in 2014. Pop quiz producer Paul, fresh off of his annual listener cruise. He's looking tanned, he's looking focused, but is he ready for this question? Who did Governor Walker defeat in his 2014 re-election bid? He doesn't recall. I'll give you a hint. It was a woman. Still don't recall. Her first name is Mary. Mary is not correct. It is, in fact, Mary Burke. Within a couple of months, and really within a couple of minutes after declaring victory, Governor Walker sounded like he was launching a presidential campaign. His campaign was short-lived. Remember, he only lasted a couple of months in 2015. He ran out of money. He just didn't stand a chance against the phenomenon that was Donald Trump. But in January of that year, all of the criticism was on him because, well, he's going to have to go to the Iowa caucuses next year and explain to them why he authorized gambling. Well, no, we now know that the Hard Rock Group was able to spend $28 million, but was not willing to do anything for the state of Wisconsin, like, say, pay the $100 million that the compact would require in order to operate a casino there. They flat out refused, but they could still pay $28 million. More on this story in just a second, but we're going to win you not $28 million. You weren't able to pick out Kenosha on a map. You're not worth $28 million. You are, dear listener, worth $1,000. To be much more than that, to be clear. But in our cold hard cash contest, it's $1,000 that's on the line right now. All you need to do is enter the word cash on our website, CASH cash. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash instantly. The Kenosha Casino back in 2013, 2014 was going to be a massive, and I mean massive, endeavor. $800 million. Hard Rock and the Menominee tribe would have operated the facility. The Hard Rock branding would have been on it. It would have been a Hard Rock casino. There would have been a Hard Rock restaurant. Now, the Bureau of Indian Affairs under President Obama approved the project in August of 2013, but as governor, Walker ultimately had the final say. And on January 23rd, 2015, he rejected the casino. The project was dead until it wasn't. In 2022, July 20th to be precise, the Menominee Tribe announced a new partnership with Hard Rock International on a new Hard Rock casino and hotel in Kenosha. The location is 60 acres in the village of Bristol that Hard Rock had purchased in early June of 2022. It's a scaled-down version of the original project. It's estimated to be about $360 million, concert venue, Hard Rock Cafe, hotel, casino, the works. Not quite as big, not quite as opulent as the original plan, but it still competes with the Forest County Potawatomi. Wisconsin taxpayers, in other words, would still be on the hook for $100 million in payments to the Forest County Potawatomi if this deal goes forward. It was announced in early February of last year. In fact, I believe exactly 1 year ago, February 3rd, the city of Kenosha and Kenosha County both agreed to deals with the Menominee that would allow this to take place, to allow this hotel and casino to be constructed. However, the Department of the Interior and the Secretary of Indian Affairs have not yet signed off on it. Neither has Governor Evers, which I found to be interesting, because Democrats all criticized Governor Walker at the time, 10 years ago, I guess, for not signing off on the Kenosha casino because, well, he was putting his political future ahead of the future of Wisconsinites who would all, of course, be benefited by a brand new casino. But Hard Rock obviously has a ton of money. It agreed to pay $28 million just in a finder's fee to the Osceola Group. It can afford $28 million just to find Kenosha on a map, but couldn't afford to pay taxpayers in the city of Kenosha, Kenosha County, Wisconsin, or how about their partners in the Menominee Tribe? The deal has the Hard Rock Group taking by far the most in revenue. According to the Appleton Post-Crescent, that percentage becomes key, and those factors should be public, said one leader. Hard Rock would receive 30 to 35% of the Kenosha Casino's total revenue and as much as 40%, said the director of the Great Lakes Indian Law Center. Previous arrangements with potential developers called for the Menominee to share at least 25% of its gambling revenue. I'm not necessarily as concerned with how much the Menominee are going to get. Essentially, the Menominee are being used because an out-of-state tribe like the Seminole, which, again, operates Hard Rock International, can't just come in and say, oh, well, you know, we have an ancient claim to this land, and we're going to build a casino on our reservation. Have you ever wondered why there is an Indian reservation in downtown Milwaukee that's exactly the size of a hotel and casino? It's because these things are hilariously fungible, but even the gaming compacts that Doyle signed state that it has to be an in-state tribe. The Seminole, therefore, needed to partner with a tribe that at least had a plausible claim to the area. The Forest County Potawatomi, as it was sort of implied in their name, aren't from Milwaukee County, but are from, yes, Forest County. They, however, got the cash cow that is the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. The Seminole tribe said, well, wait a second. If they're getting this much money, their finder's fee group, the Osceola Group, said Kenosha is ideal for a casino. There's no competition in Chicagoland, and if you go just a little bit north to Wisconsin, it would be perfect. But the problem is that the state has to pay out other tribes if their gaming revenue is affected by more gaming from other tribes, from a competing tribe, from anything else. Again, these compacts signed by Doyle were about as bad gets. So bad, in fact, that there were those at the time who thought that Doyle must have been getting kickbacks, because that's how much he sold this state out, especially to the Potawatomi, who, again, I mean, the Ho-Chunk got a pretty darn good location in the Wisconsin Dells, or very near the Wisconsin Dells. The Oneida got a very good casino out of the deal, but it was the Potawatomi that made out like bandits, because they got Milwaukee. They got the biggest population base, and they got essentially exclusivity. The Forest County Tribes Compact promises to reimburse the tribe for any revenue losses that might occur in the event that another casino pops up in the area. That's going to amount to $100 million. Who pays for that? Not Governor Doyle, not the Potawatomi, not the Menominee, not the Seminole, but you and me. But the Seminole, i.e. Hard Rock, they've got enough money to spend $28 million. They are like paying they are paying Osceola like he's Patrick Mahomes. All right? If his salary was any higher, they'd have to trade him like the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic. We'll have more on that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. That ridiculous trade. Mark Cuban showing, he goes all in. They say if you go woke, you go broke. And Mark Cuban is absolutely getting destroyed over trading a 25-year-old megastar because he's a little pudgy. That's their justification. Is Luka's a little pudgy, so let's trade him for a 32-year-old center who can't stay on the court. But Osceola gets $28 million just for finding the location. You're telling me to get this deal done, Hard Rock wouldn't have enough money to be able to pay whatever revenue loss Potawatomi is going to incur. And folks, I'm not going to get all over Kenosha or anything, because as far as I know, they entered into this agreement with the Menominee not knowing about the existence of this email. As far as I know, I'm the only one outside of the principals who have seen this thing. $28 million. It sort of completely changes the debate about the Kenosha casino a decade plus ago, doesn't it? Because remember, it was the Menominee saying, well, we just want to be able to help ourselves and our poor tribe members. Turns out they were kind of getting fleeced themselves. Yes, Hard Rock is operating the casino, but a 40-25 split doesn't seem too fair. Hard Rock couldn't operate in Wisconsin without the Menominee. Hard Rock's got $28 million to throw around for a guy who, what did he, like, throw a dart? I said, Kenosha seems pretty good. Hey, here's the third largest city in America, and here's it was a giant empty Greyhound track. You might recall the initial proposal was to turn Dairyland Greyhound racing into the Kenosha casino. I could have done, give Hard Rock, if you're looking for, not only for $28 million, can I find, did you know there is a county just north of Kenosha called Racine, which also has a ton of, you take some of that abandoned Foxconn property, you pry it away from Microsoft, build a casino on there. Not only that, I'll endorse your casino. I can be like the, who is it? One of the Van Pattens who did the Potawatomi advertising forever. Who the hell was that? It wasn't Dick Van Patten. No, it was, Oh, my goodness. I can picture him. I can't think of who it was that did the advert. Actually, a girl I went to kindergarten with was in Potawatomi's advertising forever. She was one of the models who did. We were very proud of her. I thought it was one of the Van Pattens. And anyway, was it Vince Van Patten? It was Vince Van Patten. It was Vince Van Patten because he was a big poker guy. Right. So he was doing the pot. I will be your Vince Van Patten. All you got to do, pay me $28 million. Boom. We partner on the Racine Casino. But on a serious note, this really does change the debate about that, and it should change the debate about what might be the Kenosha Casino finally, all these years later, moving forward. If Hard Rock has that much money just to pay a consultant to do essentially nothing, then the state of Wisconsin needs to drive a harder bargain in order to ensure that taxpayers are not feeling the brunt of this new casino opening.
Rapid traffic on News Talk 1130 WISN.
From the Lynch family of dealerships Total Traffic Center.
Heavy delays this afternoon on 43 southbound Capitol down to the Marquette, then slowing in pockets down to National. Northbound delays Fond du Lac to Burleigh. Jammed westbound on 94 from 35th to Hawley. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the President's Day sale at Grand Appliance for unbeatable appliance deals, like a mega capacity French door refrigerator from Samsung for just $13.99. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local showroom. That's Grand Appliance. Appliance expert since 1930.
I'm Dave Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring. Realtor.com says depending on location and a few other factors, new hardwood floors add as much as 2.5% to a home sale value, even if you plan to sell. Enjoy home more now while increasing your sale price with Flawless's LVP, hardwood, or amazing realistic, super wear-resistant modern laminate plank. Steamy wet dog and litter box aromas bother homeowners and buyers. But you say, Dave, we want the sound deadening and warmth underfoot of carpet? Our Delafield and New Berlin showrooms have countless style and combination flooring choices, including quality luxury carpet lines. Steamy stains and carpet stink, including pet fluids, wipe off Flawless Floorings, luxury vinyl plank, and modern laminate plank, zero steam effortlessly. Our employee-only craftsmen meticulously refinish existing hardwood, even perfectly blending additional hardwood with existing. With Flawless's nothing down, zero interest financing, upgrade today and pay over 21 months. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Hi, it's Jason from Capital Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and I've never told you why Capital does same-day repair 7 days a week. Years ago, in the dead of winter, the heat failed in an apartment building I was responsible for, so I called a big local heating company who promised to help, but never showed up. After a million calls, I mustered the know-how and fixed it myself. That's when I decided Milwaukee deserves a company that cares, and that's why we offer same-day repair 7 days a week. Visit callcapitalcares.com because Capital cares.
When it comes to windows and doors, your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Just north of North Avenue at 50th and Lisbon, or at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
They used water to restore your wood? No wonder you need us. Well, don't worry. This time we'll do it right. You see, water raises the grain of wood, warps it, and opens splits and glue joints. It's the enemy of finished furniture. And that's why we only remove your finish chemically. It's not the cheap way, but it is the best way. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you have a great piece and want to see if it's worth restoring, of course we can send someone out there. And no, we won't charge for the visit. We've been doing that for almost 50 years, along with pickups and deliveries, to get the beautiful piece that we restore back in your home safe and sound. And we'll guarantee your satisfaction to boot. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, By golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair, where no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
I'm Benefit Company's Kurt Otto. INET is a knowledgeable, enthusiastic, innovative, creative, focused, true genius. An expert at branding business visually and telling your story. Making potential new business make contact.
Your marketing guru or web developer can't do what INET does, maximizing your business profitability. Just like you can't keep up with regulations and see all opportunity to maximize business efficiencies like your in-sourced benefit companies will. ConnectandSimplify.com.
Creative Genius Marketing.com. INET-web.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
If you're a fan of our Wisconsin sports teams, here's the perfect podcast for you. The Larrivee and LePage podcast with two Hall of Fame broadcasters. Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, and Matt LePage, the voice of Wisconsin Badgers football and men's basketball. Together bringing you insights and guests talking Packers, Badgers, Brewers, Bucks, and more. Listen to the Larrivee and LePage podcast. Available anytime on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts. Presented by UW Credit Union. Here for every you.
Classical conservatism and contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. Did you know the Grammys were last night, Paul? I know you just got back. You're a big music guy. Did you know the Grammys were on last night? You just got back from your cruise, but did you watch it all? You did not? You did not watch a second. Like most Americans, you did not. Well, I did. Like Democrats think illegal immigrants do, I, Daniel O'Donnell, do the job Americans won't, like watching the Grammys. I have synthesized it down to 44 seconds of acceptance speeches.
I just want to say tonight that trans people are not invisible. Trans people deserve love. The queer community deserves to be lifted up.
We've seen on this stage talented, hardworking people from different backgrounds with different points of view, and it changes the game. DEI is not a threat, it's a gift.
I told myself if I ever won a Grammy and I got to stand up here in front of the most powerful people in music, I would demand that labels and the industry profiting millions of dollars off of artists would offer a livable wage and health care, especially to developing artists.
That was Chapel Roan, who, interestingly enough, did not pledge to give any of her money to developing artists to get a livable wage, including those who worked on her album. She was named Best New Artist. Alicia Keys in there said, DEI, we need DEI. She got a Lifetime Achievement Award, and that was Lady Gaga saying that trans people are not invisible. And you know what? She is right. Trans people are not invisible. We can always tell they're really dudes dressing as women. The big prize of the night went to Beyonce, who finally won Album of the Year. Now, I'm not saying that Beyonce is the ultimate DEI artist, but she won Best Country Album for her Cowboy Carter, which is an incredible achievement considering that the album sucks. But do you want me to prove that Beyonce is given Grammy Awards for reasons other than musical talent? Beyonce now has 35 Grammy Awards. 35. That is 5 times more than the Beatles, who won 7. Combined, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, and the Beach Boys have 0 Grammys. Frank Sinatra has 5. Are you telling me that Beyonce is 7 times more musically talented than Sinatra Or is it that if Beyonce is not every couple of years worshipped as a queen, spelled Kween, as in Yas Queen, her fans accuse everyone who doesn't worship of being a racist? That's serious. 5 times more Grammys than the Beatles. Beyonce.
Rapid traffic on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Heavy delays this afternoon on 43 southbound Capitol down to the Marquette, then slowing in pockets down to National. Northbound delays Fond du Lac to Burleigh. Jammed westbound on 94 from 35th to Hawley. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the President's Day sale at Grand Appliance for unbeatable appliance deals, like a mega capacity French door refrigerator from Samsung for just $13.99. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local showroom. That's Grand Appliance, appliance expert since 1930.
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning, I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the Cut and Go remote control automobile-mounted articulated crane grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American Tons of Trees movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CutandGoTrees.com.
Bob here for Redefine Realty, powered by EasyHomeBidder.com.
Brian here. I was in the market to buy my first home. I rushed to see houses the day they went live on MLS. Made offers on 5 houses before finally getting the 6th accepted. I would have increased my bid on all 5 of the other houses I didn't get, but never got the chance.
Brian's story is tragic for Brian, but also for sellers. Brian would have paid more for each of the 5 houses he didn't get. That's 5 sellers, guided by traditional MLS agents who sold their home for less than they could have. Redefined Realty, powered by EasyHomeBidder.com's auction platform and MLS, would have earned all 5 Wisconsin area home sellers more money. A lot more money. Selling a fixer-upper, a duplex, a condo, a $400,000 home, or a multi-million-dollar home. When buyers bid, sellers win. In fact, when buyers bid, buyers win too. Heck, everybody wins at Redefined Realty and EasyHomeBidder.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Obvious, but revolutionary. When buyers win, sellers win. It's real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family members hurt in accidents. They know the work we do. They all refer Warshevsky because, big case or small, we can help. If someone you love is injured, please let them know, because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
Get ready for the big game with fan favorites, like buy one, get one free, extra large avocados. Plus, buy 5, save $5 deals when you mix or match other go-to items, like assorted varieties of DiGiorno frozen pizza, 24 packs of Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable, and Sweet Baby Ray's marinade or sauce. Shopping at Meijer makes game day a good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Transition matured savings bonds, certificates of deposit, and whole life insurance into assets protected from creditors
doctors, even Medicaid drawdown. With Refi Trust, zero fees, zero taxes. Refi Trust takes just minutes. We do all the work. Refi Trust, your assets, your choice. RefiTrust.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
In a world where every second counts,
immigration raids are still underway across the country.
iHeartRadio has one podcast that keeps you informed. 24/7 News, the latest. Today's latest news every hour in just 4 minutes.
DeepSeek launched its AI model R1 last week.
Be the first to know.
President Trump has sent a loud and clear message.
iHeartRadio's 24/7 News, the latest. Open the free iHeart app and listen now.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Wisconsin. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Conservative thought.
Not just talk.
This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Did a little digging into the Milwaukee Housing Authority. Take a wild guess how much the longtime director, Willie Hines, was making as he had to redirect $2.8 million in Section 8 housing grants to pay salary of his staff. $250,000 per year. He's one of the highest paid government employees in the state of Wisconsin. And in fact, when he left the Common Council, he was seen as a potential successor to Milwaukee's mayor. He was the Common Council president. He was a very, very powerful political figure. He abruptly left the Common Council and went right to work for the Housing Authority, and a lot of people wanted to know why. Well, 250,000 reasons per year will tell you why. He abruptly retired, so he got out of Dodge as quickly as he came in, almost exactly a decade later in December of this past year. And within a month, Jenna Ray over at TMJ4 gets an incredible exclusive of a massive scandal. $2.8 million that was supposed to go to low-income housing was instead going to pay Willie Hines's salary. You know who is loving all of the attention on the Milwaukee Housing Authority? Milwaukee Public Schools. You know why? Because for one glorious news cycle, they are not the absolute worst public entity in the city. Last week, national standardized testing revealed that Milwaukee's black students scored last in the entire nation among big cities that were tested. Only 5% of black fourth graders in Milwaukee are proficient, meaning at grade level in reading. 5% are proficient in math. To illustrate how bad this is, the Institute for Reforming Government has this example. 90% of black Milwaukee fourth graders are likely to get this question wrong. Of these numbers, which are the odd ones? 698, 699, 700, 701, 702, and 703. Paul is writing it down. So you are, in fact, not smarter than a fourth grader. It's every other one. It's the 9, 1, 3. 90% of fourth graders, and you're supposed to know even and odd numbers in fourth grade. Overall in the state, black students ranked last in the nation primarily because the overwhelming majority of them are being educated by Milwaukee Public Schools. So how is MPS marking this dubious achievement? By doubling down on math and reading lessons in schools, by focusing all this week on really getting down those ABCs and 1, 2, 3s? Nope. By taking time out of their regularly scheduled lessons for Black Lives Matter at School Week. From the MPS website, it is the first week of Black History Month every year. MPS sets aside that first week as Black Lives Matter at School Week of Action. According to its website, schools and communities nationwide are planning lessons, activities, and events focused on the 2025 theme, Collective Value. 5 days of action and education will span 13 guiding principles, increasing the ranks of black and brown educators in K-12, teaching black history and ethnic studies, and welcoming students and educators of all identities and abilities. Those are all among the 2025 priorities, and each day there is a different theme, Monday through Friday. Today, Monday, February 3rd, restorative justice and empathy. Students will be creating Black Lives Matter posters and decorations. Nice! Other activities for the day include writing a podcast or video script that highlights justice, diversity, collective value, black families are one of the week's 13 guiding principles. Of course, the only problem with this, only 5% of the kids will be able to read it. Tuesday, tomorrow's focus in Black Lives Matter at School Week, diversity and globalism. They are just trying to hit every stereotype of liberalism. We need black identity and globalism. Research projects and discussions can explore founding moments and the mission of the Black Lives Matter movement that began in 2013. Other activities may include reading, and discussing books that share perspectives, histories, and experiences from ethnic groups in your school, neighborhood, or across the globe. I mean, other ethnic groups other than black ones, or is it just like black ethnic groups? Because it seems pretty focused on one specific ethnic group here in Black Lives Matter at School Week. Wednesdays has to be, I think, the highlight. This is where we reach the crescendo of modern liberalism, because it is Trans and Queer Affirming and Disability Justice Day in MPS schools. Lesson plans and discussion questions might explore how elections and elected officials shape the spaces, or excuse me, yeah, no, that's it. I thought I was reading something else. This has nothing to do with trans identity, but this is what it is. Shape the spaces we live, learn, and work in. Conversations could center on how everyone can make a positive impact in school. I think this is a subtle nod to the black community's feelings about the trans movement, that Trans and Queer Affirming and Disability Justice Day has nothing to do with trans and queer affirming justice. Thursday is Intergenerational Black Family and Village Day. The comforts of home and family are starting points on this day. Activities could include making and sharing a family recipe, interviewing family members from different generations, reviewing family photos and events, creating a BLM poster with family, using family photos, if possible, to bring to school. And finally, all of this ends with Black Women and Unapologetically Black Day. Day 5 might inspire acts of kindness and connection as students consider the contribution of black women past and present. Students can write a thank you letter highlighting a black woman's impact on black lives. They're going to write a thank you letter, huh? They're going to write one with words and letters. Well, 5% of them will be fine. Okay. Discussion question. How can your school community support you in being unapologetically black? I've got a suggestion. Teach them to freaking read and do math. Sorry. Lost my temper there. Classroom celebrations and presentations can highlight students' contributions to their school community or the contributions of student leaders and others making a positive difference. You find me a black female teacher who has her classroom above 5% who can actually function as grade-appropriate students, and I will celebrate them. But instead, until that point, I will continue to demand that if you really care about black lives and you really want them to matter and you really believe that black lives matter, there are thousands of young black lives who this district has failed for decades, and not even the state superintendent changing the standards to try to make school failures look a little better can mask this. Black lives are being failed by the truckloads. And having a week to celebrate failure by taking kids out of the focus that they should be on 24 hours a day, learning the skills that they need to succeed in the world, is time wasted. But hey, at least the administrators at MPS can feel better about themselves for providing trans-affirming spaces this coming Wednesday. We'll be right back here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Rapid traffic on News Talk 1130 WISN.
From the Lynch family of dealerships Total Traffic Center.
Stalled vehicle remains off to the right, southbound on the Rock Freeway near Calhoun. Seeing a bit of a delay there. Taking you 15 minutes between the Hale and Highway 164. 43 southbound Brown Deer to the Marquette at 20 minutes. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the President's Day sale at Grand Appliance for unbeatable appliance deals, like a mega capacity French door refrigerator from Samsung for just $13.99. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local showroom. That's Grand Appliance, appliance expert since 1930.
I'm Matt Geyer, founder of MKG Transport, manufacturers from Madison to Green Bay to Fond du Lac to Kenosha to Rockford's competitive advantage. In 2008, MKG was me driving one truck and my wife running the business. We realized communication is a huge advantage for MKG partner businesses. So did they. While MKG Transportation's capabilities quickly expanded, our commitment to local manufacturers' success never wavered. MKG is not a shipping company or messy freight brokerage. We are in manufacturing process delivery experts. It's simple, like seeing freight ready to go on your dock and your MKG mover asking if you need it handled, to becoming an extension of your shop, understanding needs and scheduling, and making sure MKG is prepared to help as and when you need. You'll wonder if your MKG moving team is getting briefings from your work in progress status meetings. Movers care and recognize your consistency is keeping trucks in service and close to be able to handle your needs. Same day, next day. Our drive manufacturing movement, mkgtransport.com.
Well, that's why you have to check out our website. We're pretty proud of our before and after photos because they show off just how good we really are. I can confidently say that whatever you bring us, we're going to use every bit of magic we have to turn it into a one-of-a-kind work of art. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If it's worth restoring, we're going to tell you. If it's not worth the cost of restoring, then we're going to give you an honest answer. You don't stay in the furniture finishing business for nearly 50 years unless you're honest and talented. Luckily, we're both, and that means all of your expectations will be met. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know, that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem anymore affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true. But offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
The latest news.
And let's get right to it. This is just breaking right now, a major development.
Exclusive investigations.
That has been confirmed by multiple sources. It is a story you will hear only right here.
In-depth analysis.
But I did some digging on this and found the truth.
And plenty of fun.
And it's time now for the strangest stories of the past week.
The Dan O'Donnell Show. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
The Army of the Pharaohs in the Dan O'Donnell Show bumper music rotation. Beware if you go look up this song, which is called And So It Burns. Some choice language to be found. There it is. Just before 5 o'clock, and that means it's time to name the unsung hero of the day. Today's unsung hero is a young man who's facing the battle of his life. Connor Wilkham, a senior at Waukesha North High School, whose loved one, a longtime listener and member of the Dan O'Donnell Show listener family, Zach, writes he stayed home from school last Monday because he's been sick for several weeks. His friend ended up stopping at his house to check on him. He was on the ground, not well. He had a stroke and several seizures and was then rushed by ambulance to the ER. There they found a mass on his brain and immediately rushed him to Children's Hospital. He had so much fluid in his brain they couldn't tell exactly what was going on. They had to drill a hole into his head and suck out the fluid for a few days before getting answers on what's happening to him. Then they saw the tumor and scheduled a 10-hour surgery the next day. Turns out it spread to his spine as well, and it doesn't look good at all. He'll be starting aggressive chemo this week, and we should receive more answers in the days ahead in regard to his future. Connor is my fiancé's brother, and he's everything you would want in a son, friend, and family member. But the thing is, he's literally the nicest and best person I've ever met in my life. And I have hundreds of friends, work in staffing, and met tens of thousands of people. and he's number one. He doesn't swear, doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs. He's super athletic. He makes everyone feel special, especially his young nieces. It's an absolute tragedy why this would happen to a guy like Connor. On top of that, his younger brother Cooper was in the Waukesha parade right next to his best friend Jackson Sparks, who was killed in the crash. The family has been through so much already and now has a terrible fight ahead of them. Connor is depressed, and the only thing keeping him going is the support of family, friends, and the community. I don't know if you ever mentioned things like this briefly on the radio. I don't recall ever hearing things like this, but if you could ever drop his name just once to help us raise awareness to this tragedy, it would mean the world to him and all of us who are heartbroken by this shocking and unexpected news. He has a food truck fundraiser on February 18th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Waukesha North parking lot. At the very least, if you could spend 10 seconds just mentioning that or one tweet, anything, it would be so very much appreciated. Zach, I'll tell you what, I'll do more than that. Right now, I have a link to Connor's GoFundMe to help his family pay for what are sure to be massive medical expenses. I want every single person to right now head to my X account. That's at Dan O'Donnell Show or Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. It's right at the top of the page. Donate, and if you can, leave a little note of encouragement for Connor. He could sure use it. He is a brave dude and, by all accounts, just an incredible young man. Connor Wilkham, your unsung hero of the day. Come on, Dan Nation, let's get to it. Support this family. Get donating, get to my social media. Let's do it. Dan O'Donnell Show, coming right back.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon. I'm Sean Maloney. A Super Bowl watch party is nothing without great game day bites. A Wells Fargo report shows feeding 10 people for the big game this year will run around $139, which is 10 cents more than last year. City of Milwaukee Housing Authority is doing what it can to avoid a bankruptcy filing. The MHA's Brad Leak says the CFO before him misused almost $3 billion. He doesn't believe any of the money was used for personal gains. 2 people are dead following separate crashes into snowplows over the weekend. The first was reported on Highway 29 in Chippewa County around 4 a.m. yesterday. The other happened in Oconto County at about 8 a.m. yesterday. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard, the Bucs will be without Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton as they try to get back into the win column against the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Sean Maloney on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Drizzle and fog linger today with temperatures hovering in the low to mid 30s. Clearing clouds tonight and much colder with lows Tuesday morning in the teens, then only mid 20s in the afternoon. Sleet and freezing rain, a big possibility Wednesday. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you in Waukesha, Milwaukee, Muskego, Brookfield, Heartland, Cedarburg, and their Waukesha Fleet and Specialty location. If you have a business with a multi-vehicle fleet, Mander is the place to go because their team understands you can't have a vehicle out of service for a while, so they work quickly and efficiently to get you back on the road and serving your customers as fast as possible through expedited fleet repairs. Mander has been serving their customers and their community for well over 20 years, and they know that the key is expert workmanship and fast turnaround times combined with the sort of customer service that you'll only find at a family-owned local business like Mander. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out for yourself why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
If you're a woman looking to take control of your financial future, you are not alone. Women are leading the way in business and managing household finances, but challenges still exist. That's why NX Wealth Management presents the Women in Wealth series every third Thursday. It'll empower you with knowledge and resources to succeed. Join us for collaborative discussions, community building, and learn about key areas of financial planning. Women in Wealth events are free every third Thursday. Sign up at annexwealth.com/events and bring a friend.
Attorney Tom Grieve here for Divergent Family Law. You really believed your paths were one and the same until death do you part. Your best interest was their best interest. Increasingly, it's clear you are on divergent paths, having grown apart in interests, goals, even morality. Having made it through the latest battery of holidays, you're now resolved to make your own way. Divergent Family Law is experienced attorneys who will make sure your path is not the lesser of two traversed as you go separate ways. Wisconsin statutes have no provisions for love, hate, or anger. Divorce is the disassembly of a legal contract, the division of assets, and the legal assignment of responsibility for property that cannot be physically divided. No judge or parent can split children in two, physically or emotionally. Family law is experiential. With Divergent Family Law, the outcome is predictable. Our attorneys can tell you up front with considerable accuracy the details of your divorce decree because we know Wisconsin family law. We know the adjudicators and we know your rights. Divergent Family Law, separate and equal or better. DivergentFamilyLaw.com.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins is bringing back their famous 2-foot party subs. Whether it's for a big game, family gathering, or work celebration, Cousins 2-foot party sub is sure to be a crowd pleaser. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99, feeds 5 to 8 people, and requires 24-hour notice to order. Order today through February 9th in store, online, or on their app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Infinity's app shows precise costs of your new roof, providing peace of mind.
Infinity costs less, and the price we quote is surprise-free.
Because we pay less, you pay less. Warranted, guaranteed quality.
Installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
Higher design, higher style. Higher Wisconsin Kitchen Mart.
Coal Investment Group is a registered investment advisor. Call 262-522-4040.
News about you and your money.
The business report from the Coal Investment Group.
Good afternoon. I'm certified financial planner John White with your afternoon business report. The major averages fell today, but regained some ground from the steep losses after President Trump said the United States would pause tariffs on Mexico imports for 1 month following a conversation with Mexico's president, in which they reached a temporary deal. Meanwhile, shares of Triumph soared over 34% on the news that the aerospace service supplier will be acquired by affiliates of Warburg Pincus and Berkshire Partners. Triumph shareholders will receive $26 per share in cash, making the deal worth about $3 billion today. On the day, the Dow is down 122 points to close at 44,421. The S&P 500 is down 45 points, and the Nasdaq is down 235 points. From the Coldwell Investment Group, now Creative Planning, I'm John White.
Disappointed. I'll be totally honest with you. I thought by the time I started talking about the trade war that wasn't, another country would have folded. Mexico this morning, Canada about an hour or so ago. I would have thought at least the EU. You know, the French were just itching to surrender. But alas, so far, President Trump has made Canada, Mexico, Venezuela, and Colombia all bow to his will by using the greatest power the United States has ever had. Its economy. We will discuss in just a second, but first, for those who are hitting me up wondering how can we help this young man, Connor Wilkham, for those who missed the unsung hero of the day, it is him. Loyal listener Zach, who actually had a really charming story. He has been an entrepreneur pretty much his entire life, and he was working on job sites as he was kind of coming up. He works in staffing now, and and guys would expect him to like blast hip-hop music or something on job sites when they're all up on the ladders. Instead, they're listening to talk radio. Belling and Vicky McKenna and me. And he really enjoyed my show. He told me how he's raising his 3 daughters and told me about his fiance's younger brother, Connor, who just seems like an incredible young man who is facing a very difficult break. He has aggressive brain cancer. A massive tumor on his skull caused a stroke and multiple seizures a week ago today. He was rushed to the ER. Almost immediately, a 10-hour surgery was scheduled. And frankly, this is a major deal for a young man who had his entire life ahead of him. He's a football player, he's a baseball player, very athletic, very kind, very decent. In fact, our listener, Zach, said he's the best young man that he's ever met, just kind and nice and good, and certainly doesn't deserve something like this. And then Connor's younger brother, Cooper, is best friends with Jackson Sparks, who was killed in the Waukesha Parade Massacre and was apparently standing right next to him. If you have any ability, please do donate to the Parents GoFundMe. I can't imagine it, and it's not just medical expenses, which are almost certainly going to be huge, but it's also just they're going to need money for, I'm sure both parents are going to need time to take off of work. I mean, you just think, I've got a young man who's a high school junior, and he's thinking about, and they're saying, well, he may be able to attend his high school graduation. I mean, I couldn't imagine. We're getting prom tickets and soccer games, and the kids are going out and having fun with friends and girlfriends and stuff. And this young man who there's so much life left for him to live, and to be dealt this blow, and for those parents to suddenly be imagine they're happy-go-lucky and, Connor's going to graduate and what a wonderful kid we have. And then your entire life just changes in an instant. So if you're able, we do have the GoFundMe linked at the Dan O'Donnell Show pages on X at Dan O'Donnell Show. Just go there. We've got it pinned to the top of the page. Top of the page at Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. I am elated to announce that in the 10-15 minutes that we started talking about this, there has been, I think, about $1,000 in donations that have come in. So I am very proud of you, members of Dan Nation. And it's not just about giving money. If you can just, leave a nice note of encouragement on the Facebook page or a comment on the tweet, I'm sure Connor and his family would love to read that. In case you're wondering why I sounded like I was going away from the microphone, while teasing that, I dropped the 5 o'clock word in the cold hard cash contest. And especially, it would be good karma. This is about the best karma. You give to Connor's GoFundMe. If you are a believer in God rewarding those who give of themselves, what is it, the joyful giver? If you are a believer that in the karmic principle of you get what you give, I think that was actually a 90s song by New Radicals, maybe not necessarily a deep karmic principle. If you give, I think you might be more likely to win $1,000 right now. The word is bills, BILLS, as in help the family of this brave young man, the Wilkham family, pay their bills. All you need to do is go to our website, enter the keyword bills to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash instantly. If you would like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show, 414-799-1130 is the AdventKnows.com talk and text line, 1-800-838-9476. You can email me, dod@iheartmedia.com as well. What was the cringiest thing this weekend? had to be old Chuck Schumer. They trotted this poor codger out with a can of beer and an avocado to try to explain how President Trump's tariffs on Mexico were going to harm you, you beer-swilling, football-watching plebeian.
Let's just take Super Bowl Sunday, okay? It's going to affect beer, okay? Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico. It's going to affect your guac, because what is guacamole made of? Avocados, both from Mexico.
Beer? Really? Okay, I'm sitting in the beer capital of the United States. We don't really brew much here anymore since Miller was taken over by a multinational conglomerate. But I'm fairly certain the Germans would have something to say about Chuck Schumer's contention that the only beer you could possibly drink is Corona and Modelo. Little known fact, after the Bud Light fiasco with Dylan Mulvaney, there is a new most popular beer in the United States. And this speaks volumes, I think, about just how much illegal immigration we have in this country. Do you know what the single most popular beer in the United States is right now, or at least it was following the Bud Light fiasco? Because it was Bud Light. Bud Light was far and away the most popular beer. And then they hired Dylan Mulvaney as a middle finger to their entire consumer base. And now it is, Paul, Modelo is correct. Modelo is the most popular beer in America. It is a cool bottle. Yeah, they got the little foil on the bottle. It's a good beer, good enough. I like Mexican beer. I drink Tecate. I love Tecate. Modelo is very good. And yes, I do like the lime in it. I'm extending dry January. I call it dry Danuary. So I'm going for a second straight month, no alcohol whatsoever. So talking about an ice cold Modelo with a lime in it, right at happy hour. It's killing me right now, but I can assure you there are other beers besides Modelo and Corona. As cringy as that was when Chuck Schumer did it yesterday, it is way cringier in hindsight because it was always obvious that Mexico was going to very quickly cave under the threat of such massive tariffs that President Trump was imposing. Sure enough, early this morning, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, President of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, not the President of Israel, the President of Mexico. She must have married into a Jewish family. I didn't take the time to figure out how the president of Mexico is named Claudia Sheinbaum, but okay. Claudia Sheinbaum, committed left-winger, had in fact caved. She was talking very tough about retaliatory tariffs on top of the 25% levied by the United States. But when 84% of Mexico's exports are to one country, America, there was really no chance that she could do anything but very quickly comply. And one of Trump's biggest demands is one that a sane, helpful nation would comply with readily. 10,000 troops to the Mexican border to help stop the crossing of illegal fentanyl and illegal persons. Yes, lefties, people can be illegal. When they immigrate illegally, they are illegal immigrants. So the Mexican government is putting 10,000 of its troops at the southern border in order to stop what it should have been getting a handle on decades ago, but couldn't because of the outright corruption at every level of Mexican government. If you want to know why the drug cartels seem to operate with impunity in that country, it's because they do. They are either paying off police officers, judges, political figures, or they're or intimidating them through the threat or use of violence against them and their families. It's unfortunately a way of life in Mexico. Mexico City is probably the most dangerous big city in the entire world. Travel advisories abound. Americans, be careful wherever you go in Mexico. It's because the drug cartels exert their influence wherever. The only way you're going to be able to stop it is through a partnership between the American and Mexican militaries, and Trump is apparently laying the groundwork for this through his designation of the cartels as a terrorist enemy in order to really free Mexico. You need to take out the international drug trade that has essentially made Mexico a vassal state. So Mexico immediately caves. Canada took a little bit. Trump and Trudeau apparently talked this morning, or maybe it was Trudeau and Marco Rubio. They set another talk for this afternoon, and I could tell you as soon as that second discussion was scheduled, Trudeau was about to cave. Who would have guessed Lil Marco from the 2016 election would be the toughest-nosed son of a gun? You got him earlier in the show saying, yeah, if U.S. aid isn't going to spend money on things that are aligned with the national interest, they're not going to spend any money. And he's talking down Justin Trudeau. Okay, Canucks, you want to get a single penny of American dollars, you do what we say. Canada, too, could not possibly withstand even a week of such punitive tariffs. 25%, 77% of everything Canada exports goes to the United States. Conversely, Trudeau thought that, he could just slap on a retaliatory tariff himself, and we would go all the way up to 50% tariffs on American goods. Do you know what percent of American goods get exported to Canada? 1.5. It's roughly the same percentage that go to Mexico. The United States has a massive trade deficit with both nations, which meant a trade war was always unwinnable for both. And Trump's demands weren't really all that unreasonable now, were they? All three nations have a vested interest in cracking down on illegal immigration. All three nations, you would think, have a vested interest in their shared North American sovereignty. They apparently don't. Or they didn't until they were made to. President Trump is also slapping tariffs on the European Union, not on the issue of illegal immigration, to try to force a change in behavior and a change in the relationship that European nations have with the United States, but rather to stop seeing the United States as an endless piggy bank. And folks, the tariffs and U.S. aid are, of course, related. U.S. aid spends $50 billion a year of your money on various random things all across the globe. It is the single biggest distributor of foreign aid in the entire world. And frankly, I'm not sure second place even hits half of that. If we are going to continue to fund whatever it is that other nations want us to fund, if Luxembourg wants a new transgender studies department in its public university, it had better damn well pay more for NATO shared defense. That's what this is about. I can't believe after the Colombia trade threat of just a week ago, so many people thought we were going to be drawn into a prolonged trade war with our closest allies. Colombia's president refused to take migrants, and these are the worst of the worst. It should tell you something that these countries don't want to take back the people they are sending north to the United States. Why? do you think? If these were doctors and engineers, you would think the Colombians would be sending the presidential jet to pick them up. Colombia refused to allow migrant flights to come back until Trump picked up the phone during a golf round a week ago Sunday and started posting on Truth Social. Colombia doesn't do what we want. Boom, massive tariffs. Within an hour, Colombia's president got the message. He not only accepted migrant flights, but he literally did send the presidential jet to ferry some of them back to Colombia. The exact same thing happened. I guess this is just, some people have a Sunday tradition of going to church, maybe getting hot ham and rolls, watching some football. Trump's Sunday tradition is making other nations do exactly as he wants. China, though, is a bit of a different story. We'll explain why coming up next.
Rapid traffic on News Talk 1130 WISN. Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Southbound 4145 taking 11 between Good Hope and the Zoo interchange. Got a crash off to the left shoulder after Hampton. 43 southbound Brown Deer to the Marquette. 16, about 2 minutes less traveling northbound. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Lynch Automotive family of dealerships.
For over 65 years, the Lynch family of dealerships has been more than just a car dealership. Starting in 1957, we've treated our customers like family from day one. Start your car buying journey today at shoplynch.com.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 50% off all windows, plus no interest or payments for 2 years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368. This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, Accunet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an Accunet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, HIMS can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/radio. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Craving something delicious? Food's here. Stop in at Quick Trip for delicious appetizers and hearty meals. Whether it's a quick bite or dinner on the go, fresh, fast, and packed with flavor. Fuel your day with quality taste. Let Quick Trip make your day easier and better.
Police Sergeant Christopher David Fitzgerald of the Temple University Police Department sustained fatal gunshot wounds while attempting to arrest a robbery suspect. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation provided a mortgage-free home to his wife and their 5 children in honor honor of their forever hero. Christopher was a great father, husband, brother, and son who is so very missed. Heroes like Christopher protect and serve our communities and our nation. Show your support. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Smart speakers get a whole lot smarter when they're playing News Talk 1130 WISN. Just ask Alexa or Siri to play WISN Radio and bask in the glow of insight and enlightenment.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Intelligent discourse, irreverent fun. A jam-packed Monday show, an exclusive story we broke in the 4 o'clock hour. The Seminole Tribe of Florida, through their Hard Rock International Corporation, paid a consultant $28 million back in 2014 just to find Kenosha as the location for the Menominee Tribe's casino. They needed a tribe to partner with. They needed a location where they could build a new Hard Rock casino. They had $28 million just lying around that they could find to pay a dude just for finding Kenosha. We also, near as I can tell, are the only ones reporting on Black Lives Matter in Schools Week at MPS, Milwaukee Public Schools. They can't educate black lives, but doggone it, they can teach them about diversity and globalism, restorative justice and empathy, black women and being unapologetically black, and, rather bizarrely, trans and queer affirming and disability justice in Black Lives Matter Week. Okay, I'm going to ask something, and I mean this in all sincerity. I know the libs have this idea of intersectionality, where race intersects with gender, intersects with sexuality. How the hell does Trans and Queer Affirming and Disability Justice Day make it into Black Lives Matter at school? I mean, isn't this just unless, and I swear no offense by this, unless there is just a much higher of black transgender people than any other race, which I don't know, man. I'm only going by what I see from the mentally ill crowd on TikTok. Look like a whole bunch of white people with purple hair to me. But doesn't this just prove that Black Lives Matter is and has always been about just advancing left-wing and radically left-wing ideology as opposed to actually improving black lives? Trans and queer affirming and disability justice. That has nothing to do with the black experience, again, unless like 50% of the black population now identifies as the opposite gender. And I'm taking a wild guess, seeing as that is one of the big reasons cited, the left's going all in on identity politics for why more black people are coming over to the Republican side and voted for President Trump than ever before. I have no idea what this means unless it's just leftist indoctrination gobbledygook that is going on in truly failing schools instead of reading. When I say failing, I mean failing. F-A-I-L-I-N-G. Something that, quite frankly, 95% of MPS kids can't spell. Just 5% of black fourth graders in Milwaukee are proficient in reading. And proficient just means they're at grade level. 5% proficient or at grade level in math. And yet they think that they've got the time to talk about trans identity and what are some of these other ones? Intergenerational Black Family and Village Day. That's Thursday. Every day they got a theme. Today it was restorative justice and empathy. Tomorrow, diversity and globalism. Globalism! It's just all left-wing pap, and they don't even pretend. Wednesday, Trans and Queer Affirming and Disability Justice Day. Thursday, Intergenerational Black Family and Village Day. Then finally, Black Women and Unapologetically Black Day to round out Black Lives Matter at Schools Week. President Trump didn't just slap tariffs on Mexico and Canada. He also put more on China. There are victories already declared over Mexico and China. There are 1-month pauses in those tariffs because Mexico and Canada both agreed to do exactly what President Trump wanted. But with China, it's a little more complicated than that. President Trump understands what China has been doing ever since the West opened up to it, ever since China opened itself up to the West. China, remember, has been under communist control since the Maoist Revolution. In the 1970s, Richard Nixon, in what I think we can probably now all agree was one of the bigger mistakes of that era, opened up American relations with the communist country. He called it ping-pong diplomacy. If you'll recall, sending American ping-pong players over there to play ping-pong against Chinese players. And from there, throughout the 1980s, and especially accelerating in the 21st century, China became America's most important trading partner because we essentially exported all of our manufacturing to China. China doesn't see itself as a young nation like the United States does. Of all the global superpowers, we're by far the youngest, 250 some odd years. China is thousands of years old, and even though they see their history as politically starting with Mao, culturally, they see themselves as the eternal empire, the Eastern Rome. As such, they're not thinking about the next presidential election like we all are over here. They're thinking about the next century, the Chinese century. That's what they've dubbed it. They have been, therefore, they see the 21st century as theirs, and if not, 22nd will be just fine. That's what they're already planning for. They don't see themselves as being a second-rate superpower to the United States. They don't see themselves as, remember, the U.S. and the USSR, the twin superpowers that the left always imagined they were. Well, it turned out the USSR was a paper tiger and always had been. China is not. China sees itself as dominating the rest of the world. China is above all an empire and sees itself thusly. China, therefore, America dominates the world economically, sure, but more importantly, culturally. American culture, fashion, film, music. We laugh at the Grammy Awards. American artists are played on radio stations and streamed in the farthest flung corners of the globe. American television is copied in every single market with a different local twist. American food, McDonald's, Burger King, exported to the rest of the world. The American way of life, American automobiles, American tech, everything. China sees itself as dominating the rest of the world solely through economic power. China will come in and buy up debt, as it is in the United States, buy up farmland, buy up whatever it can, and then try to hold leverage over a country because it is the biggest manufacturer of that country's goods. Only the United States realistically can stand up to China. And what Trump is trying to do with his tariffs are not necessarily to get China to bend to his will, because he understands that China won't, but rather to harm China just enough that they aren't able to exert as much economic influence in the rest of the world. Make no mistake, even though China is our #1 trading partner, they are by far the #1 enemy that America has in the world. We have been waging a Cold War against China and didn't even know it for decades now. But I'll tell you who did know it: the Chinese government. They are communists in every sense of the phrase. If you think China has a free market and allows for free enterprise, you don't understand how China works. The party controls everything and everyone. The wealthiest man in China, Alibaba's Jack Ma, dared to criticize Xi Jinping. He disappeared for 6 months. Just imagine, Elon Musk isn't off Twitter for 6 minutes. Imagine if he just disappeared and reappeared after a stint in an American gulag for half a year. That's what happened in China. And the thinking is that the party did that just to say, you may be the wealthiest man in China, but we own you, and we can do whatever the hell we want to you. That's how China views its relationship with the rest of the world. It wants to export its own regime of censorship across the rest of the globe. Oh, American film, you want to open up in China, you want to play in China, you want to get an extra $100 million from the Chinese market, you better damn well take out that reference to Taiwan being a country. There was a remake a few years ago, maybe a decade or so ago, of The Manchurian Candidate, starring Denzel Washington. The Manchurian Candidate. You know, the film where China installs its own candidate to be president. China was no longer the bad guy. It was Manchurian Industries. Capitalism was, of course, the bad guy in this Hollywood remake. And the primary reason why wasn't necessarily ideological, but financial. You cast China as the bad guy, Manchurian Candidate, which was like an $80 million movie, ain't making back its marketing budget, because it's not going to be allowed to open in China. What Trump sees is that the Chinese are trying to spread their tentacles across the globe. By far, China's most important trading partner, and again, because of the massive trade deficit, is the United States. Trump understands that he can limit China's influence if he can limit their ability to spend money buying up assets and therefore buying control of other companies. Or excuse me, other countries. Buying them up like Microsoft or Walmart might buy up another company like a competitor. That's what China does. And it's content to spend 100 years doing so. Trump understands this, and you know who else did? Biden. Or at least the people, the secret cabal of nameless and faceless 30 and 40-something they-thems who are actually running the Biden presidency. You know why? They kept Trump's tariffs in place and even increased some of them, because everyone knows what a threat China is and why it so badly needs to be reined in.
Rapid Traffic on News Talk 1130 WISN.
From the Lynch family of dealerships Total Traffic Center.
Southbound 43 slow from North Ave down to the Marquette. Down at Highland Ave, you got police activity off to the right. Northbound delays starting at Highland and clearing up north of Center Street. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by True Green. True Green. Get a golf course quality lawn that's more affordable than you think. Don't wait. Sign up at TrueGreen.com for 75% off your first service. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. TRUGreen.com. Infinity.com.
The Mark Belling podcast debuts on May 1st. No holds barred, freewheeling, and going after topics the mainstream media won't touch. Conservative? Yes. Intelligent? You betcha. Freewheeling? I don't know any other way. 35 years on the radio transitions to my first year in the brave new world of podcasting. The Mark Belling podcast on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcast. May 1st. Talk to you then.
I'm Josh Sparks, owner of Infinity Exteriors. 9 out of 10. Brand new roofs can't pass a simple manufacturer warranty inspection. Every Infinity roof does.
MJ, Josh's partner here, protecting homeowners for decades to come, always installing roofs, siding, and windows to better than manufacturer warranty specifications is how we built Infinity to the most successful exterior remodeling company in the Midwest.
It's your home, it's your roof. With Infinity, it's all about you.
Infinity passes on buying power no other roofer has, saving you money.
Infinity provides absolute transparency in pricing with our proprietary app, showing exactly what Infinity is going to do and exactly what everything will cost line by line, real time.
No waiting 3 days to a week for a quote.
If you like what you see,
and you will,
Infinity can schedule your new roof, siding, or windows, including financing, right there in your home. No hassle, no waiting.
Warranted, guaranteed quality. Installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
That's InfinityRoofing.com.
Picture taking your first steps into your brand new home. What do you see? Whether it's cooking meals in your 5-star kitchen or practicing downward dog in your sunroom, Belinsky Homes can handle it all. At Belinsky Homes, we know each lifestyle calls for unique home essentials. That's why we've been designing distinct and deliberate floor plans for over 60 years. Considering every last inch of space, we build new homes ready to adapt to your life's needs. Visit Belinsky.com today to find your right fit. Belinsky Homes, built for life.
Team up with the Brewers for an epic company event this season. Gather your crew of just 15 or more for a Brewers group outing and trade weekday meetings for a fun-filled day at American Family Field. Featuring options like tailgate spaces, all-inclusive areas, seating blocks, and more. Plus, Brewers ticket representatives will make planning your event easy, as they'll be your concierge while you book your event. Start planning your company outing today at brewers.com/groups.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
So how would I describe our people? I'd say the people we set out to hire have to be smart, hard-working, and honest. Honesty being paramount of the three. Because honesty breeds integrity. And when you have integrity, you won't let yourself do anything less than your best. And that's who we're looking for. Character counts here, and integrity matters. That's why it's easy for us to offer the industry's best lifetime workmanship warranty with every roof we sell. A rock-solid warranty like ours guarantees our reputation and assures your satisfaction. At Semper-Fi, we do the right thing. We seize the moral high ground, and we hold it. And when you do that, you end up having a business that's going to last for generations. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper-Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper-Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper-Fi.
If you or a loved one needs a personal injury attorney, ask around. Lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, insurance adjusters, refer Warshevsky because we achieve maximum judgments and settlements. Their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
I'm Greg Rosenthal, host of NFL Daily. Join me live from Radio Row in New Orleans. I'll be interviewing the NFL's biggest names all week long. NFL Daily will have you ready for this year's big moment. Will it be Mahomes completing the three-peat or Jalen Hurts avenging their Super Bowl 56 27 loss. We'll be there on the field after the game. Full recap, interviews with this year's Super Bowl champions. Don't miss it.
Listen to NFL Daily on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow NFL Daily and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
No radio handy? No problem. Listen to WISN's live audio stream 24/7 via the web. Just click on the Listen Online tab at newstalk1130.com.
Milwaukee Journal Sentinel investigative reporter Dan Bice has found a true scandal in the state Supreme Court race. Brad Schimmel jokes about having to buy knee pads because he's on his knees begging for donations. Now, in the JSOnline.com story, Bice links to a couple of sound bites of Schimmel saying this joke at a couple of recent fundraisers or recent appearances.
I have to invest in knee pads. You know, I go to Menards and invest in knee pads to crawl around begging people. Please, please, please consider getting involved in supporting my race. The way I'm doing it is by calling and begging people, cajoling, buying, stopping at Menards for a new set of knee pads every couple days.
You could tell those were fake laughs because the knee pad joke is just painfully unfunny. Brad Schimmel is a lot of things, comedian, maybe not one of them. Now, Bice never says where he managed to get this incredible audio. Anybody who's been around politics for even a minute knows that he's getting this directly from the Democrat Party's tracker. It might be the Susan Crawford campaign's tracker. What they will do is hire somebody. Usually it's a younger person. They pretend to be a supporter of the opposing candidate, and they record every single thing they say. And this got leaked, of course, directly to Dan Bice, with almost certainly a script ready for him to type out like the glorified transcriptionist he is when he does these types of stories. Really, he's a lot better than this. I do believe him to be a very, very good investigative reporter, but he makes it so obvious when he's getting spoon-fed stories by either the Crawford campaign or the Democratic Party. So now that you know why or how Bice got this story about Brad Schimmel asking for donations, you ask yourself, why did this story run now? Well, there's a passing reference in paragraph 26 of Bice's story to the real scandal. Susan Crawford, the left-wing judge, openly conspiring with the Wisconsin Democratic Party to gerrymander 2 congressional seats, those currently held by Republicans Derek Van Orden and Brian Stile, to get Democrats elected to them in 2026 and thereby give the Democratic Party control of the House of Representatives. It was all there in an emailed invite to some sort of symposium entitled "Putting 2 Congressional Seats in Play in 2026. Why the hell would the candidate for Supreme Court appear at this with the failed National Democratic Party chairman candidate, Ben Wickler? He fell short. It was the Minnesota State Party chairman, Ken Martin, who won the party chairmanship. Wickler finished a distant second, so now he has to go back and run the Wisconsin party and try to get Crawford elected. He's conspiring with her because she has already promised the Democrats that she will vote to strike down Wisconsin's congressional maps, and just like with the state legislative maps in 2023, replace them with gerrymandered ones that will ensure that those 2 House seats that they're talking about, Van Orden's and Stiles, are won by Democrats. Within the subject of that, or rather the body of that email, the sender, the organizer of the event, even says this will give Democrats half of the seats they need to retake control of the House. Republicans have a 218-215 margin in the House. Just gerrymandering those 2 districts gets them halfway there, more than halfway there, 2/3 of the way there. They're openly bragging about it. Now, this isn't a scam. There's one story by Bice, and it was, oh, well, it appears that this is kind of bad. Brad Schimmel joking about knee pads is a big scandal to Bice, and this story comes out. It gets leaked to him. They're using him like basically one of the 1,000 monkeys with the 1,000 typewriters who supposedly could come up with the works of Shakespeare. Instead, all you need is one monkey with a typewriter, and he will just transcribe whatever story the Democrats want out there. Oh, look, see, Brad Schimmel wants donations to his campaign. So he's begging for donations for his campaign, while his opponent is caught promising to gerrymander and thus rig the midterm elections for Democrats in 2026. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how the left and the media operate.
Rapid traffic on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Southbound 4394 slowing from the Marquette interchange down to Oklahoma on 4194 southbound. You're tight approaching Drexel. That's because of a crash on the exit ramp. It's partially blocking. I'm Kevin Henry. I'm at your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop the President's Day sale at Grand Appliance for unbeatable appliance deals like a mega capacity French door refrigerator from Samsung for just $13.99. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local showroom. That's Grand Appliance, appliance expert since 1930.
So the Donahos invited us to dinner.
Hang on, honey. Hello?
Hi, this is Lori from First American Bank.
Whoa, honey, it's the bank. Listen to how real this AI voice sounds.
Hello?
Yes, hello. I'm calling about your First American Bank home equity line of credit application.
That is freaky.
Right? What do I press for representative?
Oh, you don't press anything. I'm a real person.
Now it's claiming to be a real person.
Wow.
Sir, along with First American Bank's best loan deals in town, we pride ourselves on providing impeccable personal service. That's why you get me, a real-life specialist, to help you every step of the way with your loan. Isn't that more useful than passing you off to an artificial intelligence chatbot?
What's 2 times 2?
4.
Who created the Dewey Decimal System?
Melville Dewey.
Limburger sandwich or cheese curds?
Oh, you're not dragging me into that one.
First American Bank, the bank that does more for your money. Visit firstambank.com or call us at 262-577-2400. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We're Ted and Pam, owners of Church and Chapel Funeral Homes here in town.
Our family, serving your family.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Whether it was from a burn, heat, water, or a candle wax spill, if you have a great piece of wood furniture that has a damaged top, don't worry, because if we have to, we can refinish tops only. Other places may say you need to refinish the whole piece, but we can do better than that. So don't let your great piece go to waste. If it's just the top you need refinished, or for jobs of any size, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. He was told it would cost him $1,000 to refinish his chair. But when it was done, he'd be able to sell it for at least twice that. Only to find out that he paid more to refinish the chair than it was actually worth. You gotta watch out for dishonest people out there. But not over here. With over 50 years of experience, we'll give you a good idea of the value of your piece and whether it's worth refinishing. So for honest answers, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily securely and safely laid on the ground by Cut & Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut & Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood, or we can take it all with us when we leave. A Tons of Trees movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
Hello, I'm Joseph, owner of EWH University, where we help small businesses grow. Tune in to WISN every Sunday at 11 a.m. and visit EWHUniversity.com to learn more. That's EWHUniversity.com.
Hi, it's Jason from Capital Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and I've never told you why Capital does same-day repair 7 days a week. Years ago, in the dead of winter, the heat failed in an apartment building I was responsible for, so I called a big local heating company who promised to help, but never showed up. After a million calls, I mustered the know-how and fixed it myself. That's when I decided Milwaukee deserves a company that cares, and that's why we offer same-day repair 7 days a week. Visit callcapitalcares.com because Capital cares.
Catering to all who appreciate quality installation, a great value, and the finest windows and doors. Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
One of the biggest trades in the history of North American sports happened late Saturday night, and no, that's not an overstatement. It was one of the more stunning ones I can ever remember, so much so I was laying in bed. I went to sleep early. We had a girls' soccer game at 7 in the morning on Sunday morning. 7 a.m. game. 7 a.m. So I was in bed a little early. I actually thought the ESPN reporter, Shams Charania, who breaks a lot of these, now that Adrian Wojnarowski is the general manager of his alma mater college basketball team, St. Bonaventure, I think, Shams Charania is the NBA insider. He is by far the best. I thought his account got hacked. I thought it was a parody account. The Dallas Mavericks traded away Luka Doncic, who is a 25-year-old megastar. He's missed the last 20 games because of an injury, but he is one of the best young players ever. I mean, he is putting up stats that are just unheard of. They traded him as part of a 3-team deal to Los Angeles, the Lakers, for Anthony Davis, who's a great player, top 10 player when he's healthy. He's also 7 years older than Luka, and he's hurt just as much. The question is why? And the only answer people can come up with is they're worried about Luka's conditioning. He's a little chunky. The Mavericks had better hope that Luka collapses on the court and dies of a heart attack before he leads the Lakers to an NBA championship, or this is going to go down as one of the worst trades, most one-sided ever. Dan O'Donnell Show back tomorrow. Talk then.